Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 123. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, Andrew. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I've had a nice Thanksgiving weekend, except my work pestered me today, and I had to spend all day working, but that happens. Um, I've been watching movies because Filmstruck is coming to an end. So I've been watching as much of that as I can, and since I have
Yeah.
a few days, I've plowed through a good chunk of it. So I am now much more cultured than I was last week. I've seen The Jazz Singer and Cool Hand Luke, and what else have I watched? Postman Rings twice. Finally saw Citizen Kane. Seen a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. How was
Uh,
Citizen Kane? I don't think I've ever actually watched that.
Citizen Kane is okay.
It's okay.
It,
Huh?
I enjoyed it. I liked watching it. It is not the best movie ever made. Um, far from it. I wouldn't even put it in the AFI's top 100. Matthew, I'm quality assurance. Yeah. Uh, it's not bad, but it feels like it was made by someone who this was like their first movie, and I haven't bothered to really look into it. It may have been whoever made the movie. It may have been their first movie, but it's
It was Orson Welles that made the
uh,
movie, isn't it?
well, he's in the movie. Did he direct it too? I don't know because I've been like, okay, I'm done. Next, but it's an interesting movie. It's worth a watch. Wells is really
Yeah,
great.
Welles is the director and he stars in it.
Oh,
So,
he directed it. I wonder if this was his first, if this was his directorial debut. That would
I
explain a
don't
lot.
think it was. I know he in Citizen Kane um it was like, okay, he did a couple of short stories, short movies. Did Too Much Johnson. Oh no, those are actor credits. Let's see, director credits. Here we go. It was his fifth. He did three shorts and a movie. Too Much Johnson was the other full
Hmm.
movie before it. But I know he did a lot of camera work that was pretty much unheard of prior to that film, that laid the groundwork for a lot of modern camera techniques and
There, cinematography wise, the film is kind of off and on. I mean, it feels like a movie shot by someone who doesn't know what they're doing, but stumbles upon some genuinely brilliant ideas because there are some really wonderful shots in the movie. Um, Wells is great. His performance is great. The old age makeup is really solid for the most part. Um, the character he plays, Kane, Charles Foster Kane,
yeah.
compelling character based on William Hurst, who's a very compelling character in his own right. So I've toured the Hearst Castle. I'm in Southern California, so it's not that far from me. Fascinating stuff, really neat stuff. Um, what doesn't work for me is most of the acting is bad. The lighting is almost uniformly terrible. I mean, borderline incompetent. I, There's also some really bad ADR that is so bad I almost think the copy that Filmstruck has is broken. Because there's like you can see Kane in the background and he goes, and then literally like 3 seconds later the dialogue comes in. It's like, okay, that was ADR, but wow, how is it possible that it's that far off?
Wow.
I mean, again, it's not a bad movie, but it's nowhere near the I mean, like, no, by any conceivable metric is it anywhere near one of the best films ever made. It's good, it's solid, it's worth a watch, but man, I mean, just on lighting alone, the lighting is bad, very bad.
Yeah. Hmm.
incompetent bad. Surprisingly so. I'm watching. I'm like, wow, what the? There's some really horrible editing choices. Man, some surprising stuff. Matthew's talking about modern standards versus the standards of the time, 1941, I guess. I'm not applying modern standards. I'm applying the standards of the time. I've seen, this is not the only movie I've seen from the 40s. I've seen movies from all eras, and this movie has crappy lighting in comparison to other movies of the time. Take The Jazz Singer, which is 26, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. Late 20s, latter half of the 20s, which I just watched the other night. That movie has much better lighting. Metropolis, which is also, I think, 20s, has much better lighting. I watched the one of the Jekyll and Hyde, the one from the 30s, much better lighting. The thing about black and white movies is you have to have the lighting really, really good because you only have the two colors. So if you screw up the lighting, you screw things up hard, and Citizen Kane screws it up hard. But
yeah.
So
Saving Private Ryan, it's another movie I haven't seen.
I've seen it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have really any huge criticisms of it other than it just wasn't really for me. It's it's a great movie. I'm just it's a movie I admire more than I like. You know, I saw it once. I'm like, that's enough for me. But I still I'm glad I finally saw Citizen Kane because it was definitely an interesting watch. There's a lot good about it, but man, was not expecting almost uniformly bad lighting, some really bad acting, some very questionable editing choices. The structure is interesting, but it almost, because it's done in Kane dies, and the movie's framework or framing device is there's news people who want to do a newsreel on the life of Charles Foster Kane in 10 minutes. And they're like, we need a hook, we need an angle. So they go around interviewing his surviving friends and relatives to learn about the life story of Charles Foster Kane. And that's how the movie's set up. It's it's not even chronological. So you get all these different vignettes. But the movie almost, and this is arguable. This is not. I am objectively saying the lighting is bad. This is not an opinion. It is measurably bad. This is subjective. I think the movie kind of forgets about its own framing device in that, in a couple instances, it stays in the flashback too long to the point where you completely forget you're in a flashback and then get lost when they snap back out of it. You can go a couple ways on that, but for me, I think they should have leaned into the movie's framework a little harder, because to me it felt like the movie kind of forgot about it. But definitely an interesting movie, and pretty fun. And holy biscuits, one hell of a lead performance from Wells. I mean, it's worth it on that alone. It's a heck of it's a great performance, and it's a really, and Kane is a really compelling character. So anyway, cool. That's Citizen Kane. And all
right,
I think I've got one more week left of Filmstruck, which I just it suddenly, I think this week dawned on me. I was like, Filmstruck, I get it, like Starstruck, only film. I'm like, oh my god, I just got that.
And here I am. Let's see, the only movie I've watched recently is this. My wife picked up a Little Mermaid movie.
Little Mermaid movie?
Yeah, it just, one of the mini mermaid movies, and this was actually called The Little Mermaid, but it wasn't, the Disney or Hans Christian Andersen
one. In the last year?
I think so. Yeah, the main actress is she was the star of a MTV show called Shannara Chronicles.
Yeah, no idea.
But and it was absolutely terrible. The acting was just so bad. The writing was terrible, and yeah, she got it for the kids, for family night. So I wasn't expecting anything spectacular, but man, was the entire thing just. It's like everybody was just wooden. There was no life or emotion to any of their performances.
Hmm.
It was bad, but yeah. So
Well,
instead, I've been playing Ocarina of Time, which is actually a lot better than I was expecting it to be, and which is nice. Um, I haven't gotten to any portion of Adult Link yet, so I'm still I got to collect the last
so you're still
gem or
running around
token.
without pants.
Yeah, and I suck at using the slingshot. I cannot aim with that thing at all. I'm playing on the GameCube, so maybe it's just the GameCube's joystick is not. It does not work the same way as the Nintendo 64's joystick. But man, I cannot aim with that thing. I have yet to figure out exactly how to position the slingshot to hit things because I'm constantly missing the keys, the keyseas or whatever.
So are you trying like the rupee challenge in the
Oh
bazaar?
yeah, the shooting gallery.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've tried that. My best is 6 rupees. It's like I always miss the rupee that pops up, like jumps out of the center and falls,
Yeah.
and it falls back in. I always miss
You
that
kind of
one.
have to memorize it.
I always miss the second string of red ones that come across. It's like the first ones the first ones that come out I can hit, but the second one that follows right behind it, because their timing is different, I'm always off. I'm always hitting it after, and I'm always hit or miss on the blue ones that come out of the sides. I can get those half the time.
So Tritsu says the reticle is slightly above the middle of the split for the slingshot.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to play around with that and see. Like I can hit stationary targets, like the little gold eyes on the walls that I gotta shoot to. Those stationary targets are easy to get. It's just the moving ones when I have to actually move the slingshot to actually hit stuff. But other than that, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. It's just this is my first 3D Zelda experience, other than other than Wind Waker. And Wind Waker, I enjoyed a lot. I still haven't finished it yet. I'm going to play Ocarina of Time, and then I'm going to go back into Wind Waker and try to finish that one off, and then play Twilight Spirit.
Yeah, I still need to finish Baten Kaitos, which I've been playing for
Is it Twilight
years.
Spirit? No. Is it Twilight? What is that?
Is it the DS one?
No, the Twilight
Prin-
Princess. That's what it is. Yeah, the one that came out on the GameCube and the Wii. I've got the GameCube one, so where Link is left-handed. So
yes, the only proper version
yeah.
of the game.
Yeah. So
yeah, I have several games. I've got a shelf full of games. Speaking of games, I just bought more to put on my shelf of unplayed games.
Well, I ended up I actually
Black
bought
Friday?
something on a Steam Black Friday sale, and I bought
Yeah.
Skullgirls. Unfortunately, I can't play it.
Girls fighting game.
The fighting game, yeah.
The 2D cell shade animated one, right? Yeah. Okay, I know which one it is.
But unfortunately, I can't play it right now because I'm on the most recent version of Ubuntu and Linux, and Xbox controller support broke. It's like the previous version, Xbox controllers work, just plug and play, and it was great. But now I can't get any. It's like I've got my Logitech controller, and that one's detected, and I can use it, but I tried playing Skullgirls with it, but the buttons were configured incorrectly system wide or something like that. So it's like the action buttons were being treated like the backspace and escape or something like that. And it kept screwing up, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with this. And I don't want to play Skullgirls with my keyboard.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, no.
So
That would okay. I'll posit this to you and the chat. What would be worse, playing Skullgirls, a 2D fighting game with keyboard, or the Wii remote?
but I did.
I'm actually not sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I guess you could, if you held the remote on its side,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
If it's not too complicated, you could get away with just two
I don't
buttons
know.
and maybe the B trigger on the back.
I did get I did manage to snag one of the Steam links, the little streaming box that lets you connect to your Steam account on another computer. They went on sale for $2.50 and $8 shipping, so about $10. And I ordered one of those, and I'm gonna hook that up and see if I can play Skullgirls like that with my Xbox 360 controller, because that looks like a neat little idea. But yeah, keyboard would be worse.
Yeah, everyone seems to be, and a keyboard would be worse. Just you could maybe, like I pointed out, Matthew's pointing out, hold the Wii remote on its side, and depending on the game, you could probably get away with it. But the keyboard would just suck.
Yeah, but the Wii remote, you only have two action buttons.
Two.
And then you have the
B trigger on the back
underneath, and then the A button, but that requires you to move your thumb off of the D-pad. So, yeah.
And then you have the plus and minus buttons, but you'd have to move your right thumb.
Yeah.
One of your thumbs is moving. So I bought 3 new games. I bought Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle for $20.
Okay.
Which I've wanted to play since it came out, so I'm really excited for that one.
Does this include all the DLC, or is it?
It does not.
Okay, so it's just going to be the base game.
Right, but the base game for $20, and then another $20 for the DLC is $40, and $40 is the price I'm willing to pay for a video game. So I'm good with that. Let's see. I also picked up for $15 LA Noire, which is a game I've been really curious about because I really like adventure games and I like mystery games, and it looks like it's gonna scratch that itch, but it looks like it's unfortunately interrupted by stupid car chases. And from what I've read, the action elements of the game are really bad.
Yeah.
But the crime scene investigation stuff is what interests me. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And for $15, I'm like, yeah, all right. Also, it's the one that actually has all of the DLC in it. Old game. So, and I also bought, just because it was $17, God of War, the new one.
The new one, okay. Yeah. With the Norse,
Daddy
Norse
Kratos,
mythology,
bearded Kratos.
Okay,
Kratos and boy,
boy. Yeah,
I have a name. It's Atreyu. I don't know, what is his name?
I think it's Atreyu.
That's from Neverending Story.
Yeah, that's the horse, isn't it?
No,
no, that's Artax.
Artax.
What's
Fight the sadness, Artax.
Boy. I did get another game.
I don't remember.
Kind of a surprise thing. We were cleaning out our van, and we bought it used, and we were cleaning it out. And my wife found a DS game in there. It's some cheesy. It's Moshi Monsters or something like that game. So, but yeah,
what I think
I was really surprised.
The gentleman who does the voice for Kratos, they should have him just record a bunch of really corny dad jokes in Kratos's voice. Just to be stupid.
I think
Have they already done that?
I think
Oh,
Polygon did that. Polygon
I have great
Kra-
ideas that everyone else has already done.
Kratos dad jokes. Um, yeah, watch God of War's voice of Kratos tell some bad dad jokes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am. And what's the date on that? How far behind the
May
times am I?
9th.
Okay, I'm half a year behind the times. You stole my idea half a year before I had it. Oh well. Chaos
Um,
is, yeah, they did that. Look it up. Okay, well, I'm sure it's very funny.
it is. It is. That guy's a great actor. I'm
who
trying to
who
remember
does
his
the
name.
voice of Kratos?
Um, trying to remember his name. But
I'm not sure I know.
he is he plays in Stargate,
It's one of
SG-1.
it's not Nolan North.
No,
One of the few roles it's not his.
yeah, he's the actor who played Christopher Judd. That's who it is,
Hmm.
or Judge. He plays Teal'c in Stargate SG-1. That's his
Hmm.
biggest role that I can think of off the top of my head. But
Yep, Christopher Judge says Chaos.
yeah,
Okay. So, and I bought all this stuff online because I am not going to the store. Forget it.
yeah,
There's actually two games I'm considering picking up because they're both like $22 on the
yeah.
PSN store, and that's the complete editions of Neo and Wolfenstein 2.
Okay.
I'd rather have physical copies of those, and I think there's a good chance that a complete edition of Neo will be out next year whenever Neo 2 comes out. And same thing with Wolfenstein 2. They'll probably have a complete edition of that eventually, maybe along the time the Youngblood comes out. Um, but they're probably not going to be $22 either. So,
Yeah.
on the other hand, I have so much crap to play, including Near Automata, that I really don't need to be loading my digital library with more
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah, I thought about buying a couple other games on the Steam Black Friday sale. Volgar the Viking was one that I wanted to get, and I decided to cut it at one game and the Steam link. So I as soon as I can actually play Skullgirls, I'll probably be happy. So
Jordan Thompson saying the new movie Overlord could just be named Wolfenstein and you wouldn't need to change much. Yeah, I know. I mean, it even uses the Wolfenstein font. I'm
yeah,
like, how is this not just Wolfenstein the movie?
maybe they
Did,
licensed
did
Wolfenstein
they
and
probably just couldn't get the
and
license to it and like, all right, fine.
well, maybe they did get the license originally, but something
Hmm.
happened and their contract was voided, and so they're like, "Well, we've already shot 90% of the movie. Let's just go ahead and finish it and call it something else."
Is that font
Um,
copyrighted? No? Good. We're using it.
uh,
So,
I'm getting Nintendo stuff for Christmas. See,
nice.
that would be nice. Oh, speaking of Nintendo stuff, so let's Pokemon Let's Go launched to 3 million sales in its first weekend, and I
That's
realized
both
something.
Pikachu and Eevee?
Yeah,
Okay.
combined. Yeah,
Hmm.
but I realized that I am completely burned out on Pikachu. Like all of it, all of Pokemon's marketing is Pikachu. All the events in Pokemon Go are centered around Pikachu,
Mhm.
and it drives me nuts. And so I'm just like, I made an early decision that if I ever do get Let's Go, I'm getting the Eevee version,
Right.
not the Pikachu version. And then last week or the week before, I double checked what the exclusive Pokemon are for each of them, and all of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon are exclusive to Let's Go Pikachu.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mankey, Muck, and Oddish. Yeah, those are my top three favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, and they're all exclusive to Eevee. I mean to Pikachu. So I said so I've decided this week that that I am still going to get Eevee, but I am going to play and beat the game as if I were Team Rocket because of all of Team Rocket's Pokemon, except Jesse and James Pokemon, except for Lickitung, are exclusive to Eevee. So I'm just going to get me an Ekans, a Coughing, a Lickitung, a Victory Bell, and what was
Meowth.
the other one? And a Meowth, and then have my Eevee, and I'm just gonna beat the game with just those 6 Pokemon. I'm not gonna get any other ones. I'm just gonna beat the game with those 6 and see if it's possible. Not a very diverse party because there's 2 poison types, 3 normal types, and 1 grass and poison type. So
I just wander around
yeah.
the routes with 6 Zubats just to annoy people.
Yeah.
It's like, another Zubat? Stop it! I get enough of this crap in the caves.
Yeah. Oh well. So yeah,
Like,
I
finally,
have no
I win.
plans to
It's
get a
like, did
Switch
you?
or anything anytime soon. But that is my decision. That is how I'm going to play the game.
I'm just glad they didn't pull the red, blue, green, yellow Eevee Pikachu thing with Pokemon Snap. It was just Pokemon
Yeah.
Snap. You didn't have, there weren't 2 versions. You could get all the Pokemon in one game. It seems to me
Yeah.
one of the versions is like impossible to find in Japan. I think I read a headline that said one of the versions was completely out of stock in Japan.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I've been busy watching classic movies, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to topic, and let's see, what do we want to talk about? So let's talk about Activision pulling a real dumb thing today.
Oh
So
yeah.
in addition to, so Activision just released a Spyro trilogy remastered,
Reignited
rejiggered,
trilogy.
reignited. There you go.
Yeah.
Um, of course, the physical copy only includes the first game. You have to download the other 2, which is dumb. And
Yeah.
people are kind of unhappy about that, but
Yeah. It's very dumb.
them's the breaks.
But yeah, that's Capcom did the same thing with their Mega Man X Legacy or Mega Man Legacy or whatever it was. At least for the Switch, where it only came with the first collection on the cartridge, and you had to download the second one. I think Spyro or Crash was the same way on the Switch, at least. But yeah, put all the flipping games on the same disc / cartridge.
Exactly. Going back a minute, Jordan has a really funny idea. Call the sequel to Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Selfie.
There we go.
You just got to go hug a Pikachu.
Man,
That's
yeah.
not a bad idea, actually. Okay, so what else did Activision do wrong other than everything? Well, they skimped on the subtitles in the game. The original Spyro games did all in-engine cutscenes. The new remastered, reignited, whatever it's called, has pre-rendered cutscenes, and the pre-rendered cutscenes aren't subtitled. And it's probably that. My guess is they would have had, since they're pre-rendered, they would have had to manually put subtitles on them, and they just didn't bother. So half the game is subtitled. If you walk up to the Moneybags bear with the monocle or whatever its name is and talk to him, you'll get little text box like you do with any of the other NPCs. But once it hits a pre-rendered cutscene, subtitles disappear because they're not there.
Yeah, and,
nice job there, Activision.
Yeah, and people noticed that immediately and asked Activision where they were, and Activision didn't have a whole lot to say, but what they did say was pretty how tone deaf is calling it, is saying
That's
it
a polite
nicely.
way of putting it.
Yeah, it's a polite way of putting it. But this is what they had to say about it. says, when Toys for Bob, this is the
The
developer that
developer,
actually
right?
made the game, set out to make an awesome game collection, there were certain decisions that needed to be made throughout the process. The team remained committed to keep the integrity and legacy of Spyro that fans remembered intact. The game was built from the ground up using a new engine for the team, Unreal 4, and was localized in languages that had not been previously attempted by the studio. So here they are, chatting up, praising their studio about all the hard work they did and how great they were at making this game and making it a game that fans would love. And here's what they actually have to say about the subtitles. While there is no industry standard for subtitles, the studio and Activision care about the fans' experience, especially with respect to accessibility for people with different abilities, and will evaluate going forward.
I've seen a bunch of when you brought this article to my attention, I did a quick Google just to see what people were talking about, and a lot of headlines I felt were a little misleading in framing that um, soundbite as there are no standards for the subtitles, which is, or rather, subtitles are not a standard thing in games. That's why we didn't bother. But that's not really what I get out of the quote. And I'm glad they didn't say that because that's completely not true. While there is not an industry standard regarding how subtitles are done, like how large they should be, what should be subtitled, what doesn't have to be subtitled, what font, what color, what that kind of thing is not standardized across
Yeah.
the industry. But I would argue that having subtitles is standard.
Exactly. That's what I said. It's like I posted a tweet or tweeted this, and I said, "Hey, Activision, you want to know what the industry standard for having subtitles in cutscenes is? It's to include them. No
Yeah.
more, no less. You got to put them in there." And there's some
This
helpful.
really comes across as the switch to pre-rendered cutscenes prevented the game engine from displaying the subtitles
The
that would
dialogue
have been there
boxes.
had they right, because
Yeah.
it's just playing a movie rather than calling whatever puts up the message box. It
Yeah.
it it's my read on it is they were just lazy and didn't bother to do it.
Oh yeah, it was totally lazy, and there were some helpful people like in the comments to the article written by GamesIndustry.biz. The first comment here is that the person links to 3 different accessibility guidelines that specifically revolve around games, and one of them is by an IGDA. International Game Developers Association affiliate organization, and they all give you they all include how you should format uh, subtitles, how they should be included, how you should display them, and all that. Well, while there are some differences in in what they consider the optimal subtitles, they all agree that they should at least be there.
Yeah. Now, I do think it would be nice if the industry did make efforts to standardize subtitles, such as they need to be at least this big. Uh,
Yeah.
because what's the most common complaint you hear about video game subtitles? They're way too small. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to wonder, do video game developers just have incredible eyesight? My guess is it's because they're sitting right in front of their computer monitors all day. They're a foot from their monitor, which they're developing on, so it's real
Yeah.
easy to read. I
Yeah,
sit on my
I can
couch.
easily read on my 1080p monitor. I can easily read 12 and 10 and 12 point font.
Mhm.
Um, but if I were to scoot back to how I would play on with my game controller now on a bigger TV or anything, I can barely read those fonts from this distance.
Yeah.
And then you've got problems with contrast where oftentimes game text will be white or yellowish or something along those lines, and depending on what they're being displayed over, that can make it even harder to read, especially
Yeah.
if the background colors either severely clash or cause the subtitles to blend in.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
So I think there's
Jordan asks, can modern TVs auto-generate subtitles for games? I don't think
not
they
in real
can,
time.
because I think most TVs display their subtitles for television shows. They just display the subtitles that are broadcast along with the program. They don't auto-generate them, as far as I know.
You know,
Um, but
like like YouTube will auto generate subtitles, but it needs to analyze the file and generate them first. It doesn't
yeah,
do
and
it in
that
real
takes
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, sure, it's going to take a little bit extra work, but I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
Unreal Engine has the ability to load in a film or a full motion video and a subtitle script along with it at the same time and display them both. I'm sure you can do that. Uh, but
Yeah, the standards would have to incorporate console and PC because you probably don't need the same type. Most people who game on PC are sitting fairly close to their monitors,
oh yeah,
I would guess. But yeah, I also think not only is it the developers developing on monitors and not looking at seeing what it looks like on a TV from 12 feet away. I think there might be a we don't want to cover up our beautiful art that we've worked so hard on with big, ugly, blocky text. And
yeah,
it's like, do it anyway, because I want
yeah,
to know what people are saying.
yeah.
Also,
Well,
I'm not hard of hearing, but I often play with subtitles because sometimes something gets lost, sometimes I
yeah,
mishear or didn't understand something, sometimes the effects and music and speech balance is out of whack and I can't hear. Sometimes I just miss something, and
mhm,
because the game industry has not done what I've been asking for years and
yeah,
include VCR controls for cutscenes like rewind. If did you miss it? What did she say? Oh, let me just rewind. Oh, I can't. I would have to reload my save and play up to this point again to get the cutscene to
yeah.
play.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too, that a nice accessibility thing is to have the ability to pause and rewind cutscenes and replay them at a later time.
Mhm.
Just go to
Most,
a menu and say, okay, this is the cutscene that I need to
yeah.
replay, so I can know
Oh,
what I'm supposed to be doing.
yeah. A lot of games do have a movie gallery mode where the major cutscenes will be there for
Yeah,
replay later. But yeah, it would be nice, especially I I swear I need to at every single millisecond of gameplay have the ability to pause the damn cutscene because sometimes the doorbell rings or the phone rings or I have to go to the bathroom and I don't know how long this cutscene is.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, pause, rewind, skip. I know you worked real hard on it, but some gamers, not me, I love cutscenes, but some gamers genuinely do not care
yeah,
and nothing turns. I know some gamers who nothing will turn them off of a game. Nothing will make them lose interest faster than a cutscene.
yeah.
They're like, "Oh,
And
let's try this."
I,
And they're like,
yeah,
"Okay,
I don't
I'll
skip
play that."
cutscenes. Unless I'm replaying a game and I've already experienced it, I'm not that interested in the story. I just want to play the game. I'll skip them. But going back to subtitles for a second, Matthew says, you can standardize the size on consoles, but you don't need a huge subtitles on PC. Um, but that that is true, but I would say that you should have size options, font size options
Options are good.
for it. Even if it's gigantic, not so gigantic, and small. At least have three different size options for those who wish to use them. And even people on PC would appreciate that. And and especially on console too, where you don't know how big your TV is or how far away you're sitting from it, and sometimes the fonts, small fonts get rendered. They're not very clear on some TVs, and it makes it very difficult to read. But if you could increase the size, it would make it easier to read on less clear and crisp displays. So
Hmm. So,
yeah, but one of these days we'll actually establish standards and patterns for accessibility that all developers and publishers will adhere to. But that may take a while.
yeah. All right, moving on. Disney released a trailer for The Lion King. No, not the one that came out in 1994, but it may as well have been because it seems to be a shot-for-shot remake of the one that came out in 1994, just a different
It's
animation
not
style.
exactly the same because in this one, Rafiki breaks some roots or sticks or something instead of cracking open a fruit to
Oh,
paint
well,
Simba's forehead.
totally different then.
Totally different. Totally different.
And most of the voice cast is new too, although
Yeah.
apparently James Earl Jones is still there.
Yep, James Earl Jones is still there doing the voice of Simba, which I think there would have been riots in the street if they had replaced James Earl Jones while he was still alive. So
Yeah. Now, this is just the first trailer. So uh but the first trailer, what it communicates is this is exactly the same movie.
yeah,
Same movie, same plot, same shots, same blocking, same music, some of the same voice cast, same dialogue. If you've already seen The Lion King, the 1994 version, you've seen it. I've seen
yeah,
it. So I have
I
literally
don't.
zero interest in seeing this one because
Yeah.
we drew it in a different style is not enough to get me to see the movie. I'm just speaking personally. That this may totally be your
Oh,
bag, and if it is, great. But me, I look at
yeah.
them going like, why?
I'm looking at it too, and I don't understand this. Disney has been in this phase where they want to just live remake, do a remake and with live actors, all of their classic movies. They've done Cinderella, um,
They just
Beauty
did
and the
Beauty and the Beast.
Beast.
They're
Yeah,
doing
they're
Aladdin.
doing
They're doing
Aladdin
Mulan.
and doing Mulan. Yeah, and they're doing Lion King. But the thing with Lion King is,
Jungle Book
oh, they did Jungle Book. Yeah,
twice,
but
although
the thing
one's
with
not Disney.
Jungle Lion King is that there's really no way to do that one live action,
Well,
like
there's
with
no people
live
in it.
actors. So because it's just all going to be animals, CGI
Now,
animals.
Lion
Oh,
King
and
plus
Dumbo.
dinosaurs, that I'm there for. Throw
Yeah,
dinosaurs into the mix, okay?
but I'm
Oh,
wondering if they're
Dumbo,
going to.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to actually use any real nature shots, like go out
Like
to
what they did with the dinosaur movie 15, 20 years ago, whenever the hell that came out. That was mostly background plates that had CG dinosaurs running around on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they're going to go out to Kenyan nature reserves and film actual animals in their natural habitats and have that as some interscene cuts or whatever, or background footage. But I don't know. That might make the CGI animals a little more obvious and uncanny. So
Hmm.
what would be the worst live action Disney remake? Oh, that's a good question. Um,
There. Am I crazy, or did I hear them? They're doing another Lady and the Tramp. Am I just making
they
that up?
are doing Lady and the Tramp.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm not making
they
that up.
are doing that. Um,
The
well,
animal version of Robin Hood,
do the
is that
live
what you mean?
action remake of the animal version. Oh man,
Because
that one's a classic,
they
man.
just did another Robin Hood, and apparently it's very, very stupid, but in a very entertaining way.
Apparently it's Batman, but not Batman.
Uh, What do we?
Oh,
Hey, you
oh
know,
goodness.
they
Trying to
they should
think.
they should do a live action remake of the Black Cauldron.
I would
It,
actually
it needs
get
another
behind
chance.
that one. That needs another chance, and I think a live action version of that would do very well
See, there's a movie that
to a
there's a
modern
reason to
audience.
redo.
Yeah, definitely. I would think a bad live action remake, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That movie was just terrible in to begin with, but I
It's got
think
some great
a
music in it, though.
it's got some good music, yeah, but I think a live action remake would just not go over very well,
Mm.
and that wouldn't work. Sword in the Stone, that one might be fun to do a live action remake, but I don't
What I find funny is Disney
know.
is
Disney,
billing Lion King remake as a live action remake. Like, but it's
it's
not.
all
It's all
CGI.
CG.
Yeah, The
Great
Great
Mouse
Mouse
Detective.
Detective.
There you
That
go.
one's a good movie. I like
I
that
like the
one.
Great Mouse Detective.
Um,
Fox and the Hound. There you go.
Fox and the Hound. Yeah,
Someone on my Twitter suggested Bambi.
that nice. Yeah, Fox and the Hound. That one's okay. Um,
They've
but
already done 101 Dalmatians.
yeah, they
Although
did that
that
one.
wasn't a remake so much as just a 101 Dalmatians movie because it's not a remake of the cartoon, really.
Well, it wasn't a shot for shot remake, but it was telling the same story.
Mm-hmm.
But it used a new script. So
Yeah,
yeah, Oliver and
Oliver and
Company.
Company. There you go.
Yeah.
Aristocats.
Yeah, I would say that basically any of the movies in that time period where Disney sucked would probably no point in remaking those except for the Black Cauldron. That's the only movie from that film that time period that I would say go for it and do a remake. But all these modern movies that they're doing, Mulan and Aladdin and all those, I don't get why they're remaking those. It's
Money.
just
I
yeah,
mean,
it's all money. Yeah.
as I may have no interest in the Lion King remake, but that's going to clear 1 billion worldwide easy.
Oh yeah. And the Lion King
See,
Broadway play is still doing
what
pretty
I
well
want them to
from my
do is
understanding.
animated remakes of live action classics. Like instead of doing the new Mary Poppins Returns, it should be an animated remake of Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and Broomsticks or
Oh, Bed
Pete's
Knobs.
Dragon. Well, actually they already did a remake of Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
But that
I
would be
would
kind of
love
funny.
to see them revisit a lot of those old films because some of those are really good. Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That's a
Mhm.
really good film, and yeah,
And you could have a live action sequence in it instead of
instead of an animated sequence. Yeah, nice. Mm.
so. Uh, it'll actually be interesting to see if this Lion King movie ends up doing its own thing or if it's just going to be exactly the same movie. My guess is it's probably going to be exactly
I,
the same movie with some differences, but
yeah, it seems like it's going to be the exact same thing. They might change a few things here and there, but I the trailer that they showed was just Yeah, it was pretty much that first opening
yeah.
5 minutes of
Mhm.
the film, and
I'm curious to see what the designs are, but for instance, I'm like, oh, that's what Scar looks like in the new thing. Oh, that's what the hyenas look like. You want to see the whole movie? No, I've seen enough.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's for me, it's kind of like the Smash Brothers. Once I see the characters and their move sets and stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I've no need to play it now. I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah,
Once I've seen Mario throw a fireball, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't need to see it over and over. So,
yeah.
all
But
right,
what you need to see is Luigi doing absolutely nothing while
and still
seven
winning.
CPU characters beat each other up and Luigi still win. So
There you go, Jordan. Live action remakes of the Pixar movies like Toy Story.
nice. I would totally laugh at that. Do a live action remake of Up. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our final topic, and this one I felt was really interesting. Nintendo produced a video and posted it on its YouTube channel, which specifically instructs Switch owners how to sell their Switch, either sell it or trade it. Which is what it means is how to prep your Switch, get all of your save data off of it so that you can sell it, which is kind of an odd thing for the company to specifically promote on its website,
Yeah,
you know? Um, so a lot of people rightfully look at this and go, okay, so this is evidence to a new Switch, Switch Plus, Switch Pro type of thing, right?
yeah,
It probably not for Christmas. It feels way too late in the year for that, but maybe early next year for a spring,
or maybe
March,
they're
March
maybe they're
release.
trying to get people into a frame of mind where they want to upgrade to the new hardware that's hack proof.
There you go.
Because the current Switch model has a hardware flaw that allows it to be cracked and allow for homebrew
Right.
to be installed.
Because this video doesn't seem to be something that Nintendo would put together just for things like the Smash, bundles like the Super Smash Brothers Switch bundle and things like that. Because I feel like most people aren't trading in their Switches to buy a new Switch just for the bundle. They're probably
Yeah,
giving their Switch to their sibling or something and then buying the new one.
or yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
in
because
which case they still have the unit. And this is a specifically how to maintain your data for when you sell or trade in your Switch, which which seems like, traded in for what, an Xbox? Well, I don't think Nintendo wants that, but a new Switch. Um, so, and it also seems kind of funny. It's not going to be out for Christmas, but if Nintendo has a Nintendo Direct in January or something for the Switch Pro or Switch Plus or new Switch or whatever it ends up being called, I
hmm
can imagine a bunch of angry parents. It's like, I just bought a Switch for Christmas and now there's a new one. And Nintendo's like, well, that's why we made a video to show you how to save your data for when you trade up.
trying to think. Okay, like I need to look at the 3DS timeline. Because I'm trying to remember how much time went between the
Before the new
first
3DS?
3DS to the
It's like
new.
4 years, wasn't it?
So the 2DS came out. So the 3DS launched in 2010.
2011? 10. Okay.
2010. The 2DS came out in 2013,
Mhm.
and then the new 3DS. That one came out in 2015, 2014 in New Zealand and Japan, and so 2014. So there was a good 4 years between the original 3DS and the new 3DS that had the new chips in it that allowed them to play some games that other games or the older ones couldn't.
Hmm.
And with the Switch, we're what, a year and a half between speculation of a beefed up hardware. So, hmm.
Chaos is saying, I really doubt there will be a Switch Pro. A new Switch I can see just being a better screen and battery. That would be my guess, that
Yeah,
whatever this new Switch thing ends up being, from a docked perspective, there will probably be zero difference.
probably.
It will probably just be, um, it'll probably be the screen itself. Oh, it's on. The screen itself is nicer, more responsive. Battery is better. Maybe a higher resolution screen. But if you play everything docked like I do, there will probably not be a reason to upgrade.
Yeah. But they're definitely going to be fixing those hardware flaws. But
And a better kickstand.
and a better kickstand, yeah. They better include a better kickstand. That little flimsy piece of plastic. It's like phone kickstands. Like I break all of the kickstands on my phones. This is actually the best one that I've had so far for my phone. And unfortunately, my phone is crap and this case is crap. But the kickstand is great. But but yeah, a good kickstand is very important, especially if you're advertising that the system is portable and you can just set it on a table and play. But
Yeah. Maybe more internal memory too.
yeah,
So
it's
you can
a little.
actually have two whole games on there. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
at
quite
least
that
double the
tight, but
size of
man.
the internal storage, but preferably 128 gigs minimum. I
Hmm.
would think would be a good minimum.
It's
Uh,
32
it's
standard, right?
32 right now. Yeah,
And they're
um,
like, just buy a bigger card and put that in there. Or,
yeah. There's actually some good deals on SDHC and
mhm,
SDXC cards on Black Friday and stuff. Like I saw a 128 gig for $8 or something like
mhm.
that. That's a really good deal
I wonder
there.
what I imagine the Switch, will it take the, like, whatever card you jam into it, or will it only go up to a 2 gig card, or I don't know.
Um, no, I don't know. The 128 on, oh, maybe it was, yeah, the $20 on Amazon for the 128. I think the Switch goes up to a terabyte, doesn't it?
I have no idea.
Because I think it's a standard SDXC.
I'm pretty sure you can't plug in a USB hard drive to the dock.
Yeah, you
I
can't do
think that's
that. I
not a
think it's
thing.
just the SD card. I think
Even
that's
though
the only
there's handy
storage.
dandy USB ports on the dock.
Oh, Addicted to Chaos says it supports up to 2 terabytes.
Two
So,
terabyte? Okay.
yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
how much is a 2 terabyte card?
Like
That's
$400.
probably more expensive. Yeah, like I
One
was gonna
one
say, probably
terabyte
more than
one
the
terabyte
unit
SD cards are
itself.
at least $200. I
Yeah,
would think they're pretty darn pricey. But Addicted to Chaos says the 128 gig on Amazon for $20. That's a really good deal.
yeah.
I would
Chaos
have
says they
jumped on
don't
that if I
exist
had
yet.
it.
I was gonna say I've not seen a
Yeah.
2 terabyte micro SD card.
Yeah, I think they're still struggling to shrink the storage down that much, but
Mm,
they do make 1 terabyte micro SD cards. So you
yeah.
got.
Because I know that there is so little memory on the Switch. Now, keep in mind that my entire game library is Mario and Zelda. um, and I bought them. I have physical copies of both. So really, you only have what the game installs plus the save file.
All
In
right,
order
let's
to
see.
download Senran Kagura Reflections for the marathon, the game charity marathon earlier this month, I had to delete all the game demos I had on the.
Oh wow.
I had to make room because I had I had Mega Man 11 and Monster Hunter Generations on there. I had to delete most every single Sushi Strikers I had on there. I had to delete all the demos to make room for Senran Kagura.
Yeah. So I'm looking on Amazon for 512 gigabytes. Their SanDisk has, oh, that's not even a micro SD card. See, 400 gigs. We've got $120 on sale. It's normally 250. But yeah, not a whole lot up in that range. So
Jordan says, "Got to have that thigh rubbing though." Yeah, I
yeah.
don't. If you guys didn't see that, I'm working on getting all the extra life stuff up on my YouTube channel, and I'm trying to break them into segments. Most of it's Zelda, but there's going to be the Senran Kagura segment. There's going to be 2 Just Dance segments.
Yeah.
My sister and I are boogieing to Just Dance, which has a pretty lame song selection. Um, the when Super Metal Dave was over, we played Ninja Turtles. That will be a segment. We played Flashback. That will be a segment. So I'll try to make them like that. Definitely check out the Senran Kagura because that game is just, it's bad, but it's bad almost not in a funny way, bad in just kind of a weird way, as in just why? Who is this for? I mean, there are a lot of games that you can like the One Chambara games. They're
Yeah.
bad, but they're kind of funny anyway because they're just so stupid. This, but they're also a game. There's zombies. You have a sword. Connect sword with zombie and blood geyser. Yay! Center and Kagura Reflections is not even a game. You're standing in a classroom with a girl, and she says, "Pull my finger." I'm almost not exaggerating. Basically, she sticks her hands out at you, and you have to massage her hands, which involve either rubbing her palm or not pulling her fingers, but massaging each finger. And depending on which finger you pull, it keys off a fantasy sequence where you poke her, either pat her on the head or poke her in the stomach or pat her on the hips or wherever until little colorful hearts burst out of her head, and then you can
Wow.
massage her with a roller or a electric massager or a hairbrush, which you use to brush the inside of her arm.
With a
What? With a
hairbrush?
hair? It's yeah, seriously. You literally are brushing the inside of her elbow with a hairbrush. It's weird.
Must
And
be
not
like one of those soft, like horsehair brushes, like you would use for polishing your shoes.
maybe it looks
I
like a
don't know.
regular hairbrush to me. Yeah,
That's
Jordan says,
weird.
remember, you did it for the children. Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Um, but it is a weird game.
Yeah.
It's not even a game. There's no game there. I mean, every mini game is pull finger, start a sequence, then poker until she allows you to massage her, and it's the exact same massage. You'd think that the thigh punchy mini game. It is
Yeah.
always the inside of the left thigh. You never do the right thigh. You never do her hamstrings. There actually is you use a
Interesting.
little roller thing on her
Yeah.
left hamstring, I think. Always I I don't get it. It's so weird. And then there's a diorama mode, and you can dress up the character in different outfits and pose her for no real reason, though. I guess you could just post your pictures to Twitter. I don't know why you'd do that. I tried to do that, but I couldn't remember what my Twitter password was. Um, I really do like the idea of a extra life after dark kind of
Yeah.
segment, though. So maybe next year we'll do Peach Ball, the pinball game,
Hmm.
uh, or the Center and Kagura Beach Blast, which is the squirt gun game. Those are, I mean, I'm sure they're stupid, but one's a shooter and one's a pinball game. They're at least games,
Yeah.
Fan service is the only reason, says Chaos. Yeah, but it's not sexy. Or maybe I just have no taste. I I
Maybe.
don't.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't mind fan service, but I'm not sure which fans are being serviced by this game because it's phenomenally dull and it's not fun and it's not sexy. It's just
Yeah.
weird. The story doesn't make any sense. I I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing I
Yeah.
paid $10 for.
Yeah.
Chaos says Peach Beach Splash is just Splatoon with boobs. Yeah, exactly. I think I think what happens is once instead of exploding, you
Yeah.
ink a character and they explode in Splatoon. I think what happens in Peach Beach Splash is their tops fall off, and then they cover themselves and they're like, oh no. Okay, I see. I get that.
Yeah.
But there's this. I mean, I can kind of get the various tropey fantasies that play in Senran and Kagura Reflections. One is the teacher who's making you do stuff. I'm like, okay, sexy teacher fantasy, sure. And then another one is um, we're a couple, and I have wrapped myself in a ribbon and nothing else. Open your present. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that. My sister and I just kind of stared at the outfit for 10 minutes and kept spinning the model around, trying to figure out exactly how her outfit worked because we're like, hey, this piece goes over her shoulder, but then it goes under the one that goes across her chest. I was
Yeah.
probably looking at the game the wrong way. And then one of them is like, I'm your little sister. And we're like, wait, what?
What?
Whose fantasy is this? Don't
Um.
you want to? No, no, no,
Oh, that's awful.
no, you gross game. No. Ah, well.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also a squirt gun in that game where you can hose down the character, but you can't aim it, and she doesn't really seem to react to it. It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, well, why is this here? Jordan says only Andrew would overthink scantily clad women. Yeah. Um, Another funny thing that my sister and I immediately noticed is when you on the main menu, there's like option one, two, three, four. In option one, your character is standing over here in this pose. In option two, she's standing over here in a different pose. Um, so she'll be here, and then she'll be here, and over here, and then over here. What's funny is every time you switch menu options, the character resets to her new position and pose, but then her breasts go wah 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 into back into position. Like you just flick the door stop. Like she had just like the Flash had just whoom into the new position, and her breasts are just swaying into position. Her hair doesn't do that. Loose bits of clothing like scarf or skirt or ribbons or anything don't do that. It's just her breasts that go wobbly wobbly when she moves really fast. I'm like, well, I'm glad they concentrated on the important part.
Yeah. Of
Uh,
course.
it's there to make you ask questions. It's there for this post game discussion. That's the point.
Yeah.
Also, the HD Rumble is crap, and I don't just mean in Senran Kagura. I mean HD Rumble is crap in all games that I've played, which is Mario, Zelda, and Senran Kagura. Uh,
But you haven't played 1-2 Switch with the
I
mid-game
guess
game.
I need to play
Download
1-2 Switch because I genuinely don't get this whole HD Rumble thing. It's just Rumble.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little the it's not a physical motor, so it feels a little bit different. I mean,
Yeah.
if you held a standard Rumble motor in one hand, and then the whatever that motor is, that mechanism is in the Joy-Con in the other, you'd be able to tell the difference between the two. But I'm not. I don't get any of this. Oh, really feels like a thing, or it feels exactly the same. It's either on or off. It's very
Yeah.
binary. I mean, it has different levels of intensity, but Chaos says Mario and Zelda don't support HD Rumble. Well, there you go. But Senran Kagura, none of the demos I've played do either. And Senran Kagura, it's just regular vibrations. So,
Hmm.
ah. I remember Nintendo saying something about like the difference between the Wii U and the Switch version of Zelda, and they said something about the HD Rumble will allow us to do things like with the sword hits and the footsteps on different surfaces. I think that was sound though. I'm not getting anything out of it.
Huh.
Have I played Mario
Oh.
Kart? Nope. Does that have HD Rumble? We can say boob physics have come a long way in the years they've been around. Um, no, I don't know. I
I think
mean,
we're still in the
they're
same
it.
jiggly bits that
Yeah,
we've always
it's
been
just
in.
they
It's
move, and they don't move realistically.
yeah.
So I've seen breasts. I've seen them move. I've made an intense study of this over the years, and I can say with confidence that these games are not realistic in their portrayal.
Yeah.
Such is life. Ah,
Yeah.
well. Any final things before we hang it up for the evening?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. I've got a lot of I've got another 20 hours of footage to render. So so that's our show for the night. Thanks everyone for sticking
Yes,
around.
thank you.
Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube to find my YouTube channel, in which you can watch a video of my sister and I eating ice cream sandwiches. Isn't that fun? Um, then we had an ice cream sandwich competition, and we both won because we got to eat ice cream sandwiches. So it was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, I watched that one. That was a pretty good video.
Oh, good. Yeah, I actually had some responses of people saying, "Oh, those are neat ideas." As one person said, "Oh, I'm going to try that one." I'm like, "Great!" So hey,
Yeah,
we
I
inspired
would
people
have.
to eat junk food.
Yeah, the cookie dough one actually did sound really good. I thought, but yeah, there was a lot of cookie.
Yeah, it's really really rich.
Yeah,
Um, it's more funny than it is fun to eat. But I think the s'mores one was really good, and
yeah, it sounded good.
making an ice
I
cream
was
sandwich
I
was.
watched you. I watched that little clip of you toasting the marshmallow fluff on your stove, and I was just
Mhm.
like, "Ooh, he's gonna drip that on his burner." Ugh. But it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
marshmallow fluff. I guess you want to make sure it's not melty fluff. That it's
yeah.
really nice sticky fluff, so it doesn't drop. Um, but anyway, plug Twitter at Andrew Eisen, and you can follow me there. And where I every time I watch a movie, I do a little mini review of it on Twitter. So you'll find that stuff there. And I also make really dumb jokes because that's what Twitter is for, because you don't have a ton of room.
Yeah.
Like, what did I just say earlier about something about I was watching a live kittens cam because the dead kittens cam was really depressing me. That one actually got retweeted and liked quite a bit. I think people really like that disgustingly morbid sense of humor for some reason. But it's funny because I was having a bad day earlier in the week, and my sister sent me a link to a kitten cam at one of the rehabilitation hospitals up in LA. And I looked at it, and it's the name on the top is Live Kitten Cam. I was thinking, well, I should certainly hope so. So Jordan says, when's Zachary gonna do a 24-hour stream?
When I have time. Every year I'm just like, maybe I should do this, but it's like every weekend it's like every time I want to actually do something on the weekend, my wife has other plans. So it's
Yeah,
like I don't think telling my wife that I want to play video games for 24 hours straight will go over
yeah.
very well.
Also, we
Uh,
live in different states. Zachary's in Oklahoma. I'm in California, so it's not like he can just like Super Metal Dave lives about 10 minutes from me, so it's easy to get him to come over and guest on the stream. Zachary, that's a 1,000 miles,
yeah.
so a little more difficult for him to just drop on by.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for me. Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, where I talk about gaming and politics and other stuff that bugs me. And you can also follow my game development work at DK_gaming on Twitter and DivineKnightGaming.com. And if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, or you can check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and OKGameDev.com.
All right, that's it for us. Thanks very much for watching this week's installment of Molehill Mountain, and we'll see you back here next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.